Okay, I guess the panel is open for questions from the floor. Don't everybody ask at once now. Douglas.
How about we start by, could each of you go down and talk about how you got involved with phpBB to where you are today? No is not an answer.
Come on, Will. You can do it.
My name is Will Hough, and I was working for a company that wanted to start a bulletin board, and they were buying a board from another person, so I had to research what phpBB was, and so I researched it and figured it all out and started a board up and went to the support forums for support and liked how everything was ran and liked the people, and so I decided to want to get into it more and pursue it more, and that's it.
Let's see. It would have been November of 2002 when I decided it was a good idea to create myself a blog and a forum for myself, for my ego. So a little while after that, I had to ask a question, so I registered on phpBB.com, and the rest is history.
Hi, Yuriy Rusko, the operations manager as of yesterday. A friend of mine who, if you come to the social event, you'll meet later tonight, decided that he wanted to start a bulletin board to discuss absolutely nothing with a few of his friends. And the only problem was he had no idea how to do that. And of course, I had no idea how to do that either. So we registered on a free phpBB host, used the Solaris template from phpBB2, if anyone remembers that. It was great, right? And then a couple months after that, we figured out that, well, you can't really do anything with the free host. So we tried to switch, and they asked us for $25, which at the time seemed like a lot. And so we didn't. And so I had to figure out how to install phpBB, and that's and I actually haven't switched hosting company since then, which is a mistake.
I first came in contact with phpBB in 2004 through another forum, and that's why we have our link at the bottom on the footer, our copyright link, our credit line. I'm sorry. Clicked there, and I ended up at phpBB.com and decided that, well, I think I'd like to have a forum, and that's the first time I downloaded it, installed it, and became familiar with the coding and all that other stuff from phpBB 2. And then here I am.
I was a moderator on a PHP board, PP2 in that time, and after some searching, I found a link on the bottom, and that's why I came out with PHP2. Only in PHP3 I got more interested in the styles, sort of, and that was it.
Now you like ping pong?
Yes.
Okay, next question.
I will make them up if no one else asks them.
Yes, Douglas. I don't want to always see the same hands.
Well, I've got to make some up. Got to keep us going. One thing that I remember from London Invasion 2 years ago, someone from our chat asked a question about quick reply, and was quickly shut up. But what we saw last year, though, and this is partly a question for the developer team, a change in tone. phpBB decided to actually support a quick reply, making a big reversal. What was the issue? Maybe we can discuss a little bit about how that came about, the whole quick reply situation, and maybe as a symbolization of where phpBB is trying to change in terms of its relationship with the community.
Indeed, David MJ in London 2 years and a month ago said, quote, "phpBB will never have quick spam." We didn't add quick spam. No, just kidding. What changed was just an attitude. There's no drawback to having quick reply. It was a straw man argument from the first day, really, as far as I'm concerned. The quick reply was set up, was used as an excuse for so many other things that just didn't really have any impact on anything else. So what changed was somebody came to their senses. Somebody being a group of somebodies, most of us in this room still. Anything else, Yuriy?
We decided we don't like shooting ourselves in the foot every time, so that was really it. People ask.
That puts me in mind of a question, so I'll take the privilege of the chair asking. I guess this is a question for a simple yes or no question. Has the decision to eliminate a sub-silver style been cast in stone yet?
No. Yes.
In fact, just yesterday, Nils reinstated sub-silver into our repository. So it's back. We're going to, rather than packaging it though, it'll be released as an official style in the styles database. If you go read on Area 51, you can get all the gory detail, but the essence is that we would like to deprecate sub-silver 2 at some point in the future, but obviously it's used too much at this point to be able to do that.
In our chat, Doppelganger asks, will we get pretty URLs soon? Which I believe was briefly mentioned earlier today. Oh, and he just logged out, but we can still answer the question.
I'll go for that one as well. The answer is not at any point in the near future because it's not something that phpBB is designed for, and it would be difficult to bolt that on to the architecture because there's URLs built all over the place, and you'd have to change something about all of them to be able to properly do a pretty URL or an SEO URL or what have you. Nils? Never mind? Go ahead.
Wait.
Let me first add a sense. So I think Henry pointed out earlier that with the hooks, it's going to become much easier to build something like that. So while we're not going to support that, it's not necessarily out of the question for a mod anymore. Or, well, it's going to be easier to make a mod.
Right. That is something that Henry did bring up, and I glossed over. But yes, it will be easier, but still difficult, from my point of view at least.
And I've also got a question, and that's probably mostly directed at Will and Yuriy from moderation and support. How do you motivate yourselves to keep up with all the questions and complaints that users have?
Oh boy. Well, recently I haven't been able to put in the time that I'd like to into the forum, so I'm not as active as I'd like to be because of a new job and a new situation. But can you ask the question one more time?
Like, how do you motivate yourself to keep answering the same questions over and over, or dealing with these people who have complaints and
How do I motivate myself to do that?
yeah.
I just
Why don't you get fed up and stuff?
Why don't I get fed up? You do get fed up, but you just kind of keep that inside. But I guess the more people understand, learn from your mistakes. I don't know.
I can take that. Well, first of all, this is now Patrick's problem. But with regards to support, I think if we're answering the same questions over and over again, then we're doing something wrong, because then there's not enough documentation covering that particular portion of the support. So in my case, if I saw questions being asked over and over again, I would go and I'd either write a knowledge base article or hit someone until they wrote the knowledge base article. So it's not really the same questions over and over again. Well, I mean, other than just pasting the link to that knowledge base. Well, what's so funny? I feel like I'm out of the loop. As far as motivation goes, well, it's things like this, I think, that motivate me. I look forward to the next meeting where people can well, you know, or I can meet other people who do the same thing. That's kind of.
Let me just add something as a person who's answered a couple of support requests. I agree with Yuriy that documentation is going to be an essential part of the advancement of the usability of phpBB, but on the other hand, we all sort of suspect that some users wouldn't read documentation if it were, you know, written in cement. So we do get the same questions over and over. One of the ways we handle that, Nils, and this is a dirty little secret, and I'm sure nobody's realized it, but we have a Firefox plugin with lots and lots of canned responses. So that's one way we can deal with answering the same question over and over again.
Oh, go ahead.
One thing to add to what Josh answered with regards to the pretty URLs, since the development team at the moment is taking suggestions for hooks, it would make sense for someone who wanted to create such a mod to maybe start creating that mod and figure out where they would need hooks and then suggest those hooks, and then they could use those hooks when those hooks were added.
We need to get David to talk about something. We have a Colón in the chat room asking how can people who can't code but want to help out with the mod team, and we just talked about this recently, but we can re-elaborate, how can they get involved?
Yes, as has already been mentioned in the chat, support for other people's mods. The best way you can get involved with, say, the code, if that interests you, is just to really open up the phpBB files and look through the code, get yourself familiarized. If the mod team is something that interests you, other things you can do are probably contribute to the wiki and try to help out users. In the case that you don't know any code, your best bet would probably be to help with the support team if you really want to contribute to the community.